not to shift to a negative, because I don't think it necessarily is, but this obviously does have a slightly different perspective for the next generation of people coming in.
Yeah.
So there's obviously the business owner, there's the existing staff, and then you've got the next wave coming in.
Yeah.
What does it mean for them? Is it as concerning, as negative, as doom and gloom as it may appear, or is there light at the end of the tunnel for that next generation of people coming through? I mean, you kind of touched on it with, if you've kind of got someone in your team that's a bit of a whiz, and I think we talked the other day about a 16-year-old, I think you said, that had kind of put an agent into a robot dog.
Yeah.
I mean, is the reality actually that the next generation is probably going to be the ones that have the best grip of this than anything else?
They're so much better at using AI than we are. I think that's like an honest assessment of everything that I've seen at the moment is these kids are on it. So for the next generation, look, I mean, there's a lot of discussion at the moment whether, I saw a podcast the other day saying, is there a point of people going into medical school? And, people are freezing up on that and thinking about it and thinking, whoa. Look, I think one of the biggest changes that we're having is we're moving away from a knowledge market.
Yeah.
So, if before, somebody went to NASA and they said, I know how to build your rocket ship.
Yeah.
And they'd say, perfect, you're hired. Nowadays, you come through to any business and you can say, I know how to build a rocket ship, and they pull out their phone and say, yeah, but I've got 5 tools.
I can figure out how to do that myself.
I can also, like, what can you do for me? Yeah. So we're moving into a different space at the moment, and it's kind of about, where can you provide your skill? And I think that's kind of the difference. It's very much a skills market nowadays where knowledge is available to everybody all of the time. And now it's in the workplace as well. So for kids coming through, the impact is probably going to be they're gonna probably have different roles.
Yeah. I think roles some will disappear, new ones will be created.
Yeah. Some
will exist with a modification to it. I think what you touched on there that I really liked is the word skill.
Yeah.
It's the skill set you have. When you go to university or you're studying to learn, or you perhaps even not at university, you're self-taught. What you're trying to do is gain a set of skills that is valuable to a business.
Yes.
That isn't going to change.
No.
What the job role is, what it's called, may disappear.
100%.
New ones might come about. But it's the skill set you provide to that job role. So it's the fixation, I think, on, will this job go? Will this role go? Maybe. But that's irrelevant. If you've built up a skill set, especially around the development of AI, you have the capability to use this tool, technology.
Of apps. Yeah.
It in itself, your role will develop based on the skill set you've acquired.
Yes.
And therefore, the generation coming through are probably going to be the most capable. As our generation was when it came to mobiles. They came around when we were young, we were kids still. It's that generation that adapted to it very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to happen here.
100%. I mean, if you think about like the social media boom, the big established advertising agencies and marketing agencies were having a look at what these 15, 16-year-olds were doing on social media because they were generating more money than the companies were.
Well, I mean, how many YouTubers or influencers are over the age of 40?
Exactly. So it's like don't worry about them. They're going to figure this out. But I think there's also going to be an area where I do think that there is a realistic element to the super team type of environment where if a single person business goes in there, but they really know how to solve a problem and they've got the tools around them they've built to kind of solve a problem, and you drop them into an environment and they kind of move about and they can start to draw information, whatever the case is. I don't think we're very far away from that. No. So we may even move towards more of a freelancer market where people go in very specifically to go and solve an issue.
If you take a look at every technological shift that's occurred, you take a look at the internet, .com era, 20 years ago, there weren't YouTubers. There weren't influencers. No. There weren't that many e-commerce businesses. All right, Amazon, you were perhaps ahead of the game on that one. But the reality was it resulted in more jobs coming about, but they were different to what traditionally people were used to.
Yeah.
Think of the typewriter, shift from a typewriter to a computer. Suddenly that skill set still valuable to a digital world, to what it developed into, but the role changed.
I mean,
skill set was still useful, but the role changed.
I mean, you look at the shift from like the original computer, which were people at banks counting money, to an actual
With an
computer.
abacus.
Yeah, exactly. So like, yeah, I mean, it does. It changes. It changes dramatically. Look, nobody's got the answer, and I think that's why nobody really wants to stick the flag in the ground and say we're going there.
Well, nobody has the answer, but we're giving you the answer.
Yeah.
In sessions like this and the webinars that we run. So again, if you want to learn more about this technology and what it can do, come along to one of the webinars.
Yeah.
You're going to be hosting some. Love to see you there.